Welcome, everybody. My name is Tom Pabin, and I'm actually the president and founder of Class 101. And we are so glad that you are here tonight to celebrate our 3-month period getting ready to come up in our calendar. We refer to that as our summer Jumpstart program. So in May, June, and July, it's a time for maybe a few of you to kind of help jumpstart getting ready for the application season. So parents, we got one thing we need to tell you tonight, and that is that we got you. We got you. We're thankful you're here. If you're a student, welcome. We have people from all over the country joining this webinar tonight, but we want to let you know that we have you. There's never, you haven't missed a deadline yet. There's stuff out there and to share with you tonight that you're going to learn in preparation for that application season. So in May and June and July, so literally just about 95 days from now, the applications will open up and it will be here before you know it. So that's why we call this our Summer Jumpstart program. To help lead our webinar tonight, we have 2 of our experts. We do have experts from all around the country. But tonight you'll get to hear from 2 of them from 2 different parts of the country. We're going to start with Alyssa Stegemoller. She's the owner and office manager of the Carmel, Indiana location. So that's in the Indianapolis area. What's so unique about Alyssa is she actually worked in our Bloomington office really for the last couple years and 5 years total in her experience as a Boilermaker, which should tell you where she went to college. As a Boilermaker, she learned some things along the way and some things that were maybe some mistakes or things she didn't take advantage of. So that's one of the reasons why she's so passionate about being here tonight and telling you about some of the items for our Jumpstart program. She loves coaching families, high school students, set their goals. She really loves helping students with their essays, grades, ACT scores, of course, exploring colleges. She's lived out that Class 101 mantra of empower, serve, and inspire. She's an avid traveler, newly married, I can say also, has spent 6 years after her time at Purdue, running the Northern Mexico division of a nonprofit. So she loves getting to share those stories from that period and pictures of her sweet rescue pup, Bentley. So Alyssa, welcome here tonight. We look forward to hearing from you. You're welcome. And our second presenter is Tracey Childs, and she has spent her whole entire working career in higher education. She is the owner of our Class 101 Mobile location, and she's just really has been super aware of the pressures and the expectations of college-bound students and how that's increasing, and how there's a gap there that she's excited to help her students to meet those expectations. She does that by bringing our methods, right? Our 25-year-old methods from Class 101 to her Mobile community. Tracey has her BA and Master's of Education from Auburn, a doctorate from the University of South Alabama, and has worked at the college level as an assistant professor, a director of student success and associate dean of students. She and her husband, Andy, are proud parents of daughter, Caitlin, who I just got to spend a bunch of time with this last weekend. So that was super cool. Tracey says, really, she's just super passionate about helping young people realize their fullest potential by reaching their educational goals. Watching that process from the start to the finish is both fulfilling for students and families for her. So I think I might have misquote. Did I say that you were married yet, Alyssa, or getting ready to get married?
I am engaged. So
You're engaged. I'm sorry. I know your sister just got married too, so I had a little snafu on that part. But
a lot cheaper.
Lots of Stegemollers getting married, so I can't keep track of them all. So I'm sorry for that. But we have 2 wonderful people presenting tonight. Really, what we want to tell you is really just hello to this application season, right? Again, in May and June and July. So take those 3 months plus the 5, 6, 7 days we got listed this month, right? So roughly about 95 days that application season begins. So it's almost here, right? And so what's important for us, our key benefits, is really trying to find those best schools, those right fits, staying ahead of the application process, being proactive instead of reactive, helping increase in test scores, increasing the scholarship opportunities by being more prepared, right? So all of us parents, I have 2 in college right now, and it sure is nice to help find some additional savings to make college more affordable, become that competitive applicant, and really overall reduce that cost of college, which we're all concerned about. So tonight we do have a few business items before the ladies are going to get started. We do have a live Q&A. So it's really important to put it in the Q&A box, okay, not the chat box, because that's hard because we're doing the seminar to manage that. But we do have a team managing your questions. So if you do have some questions tonight, again, please do that in the Q&A area of the webinar. We also have a drawing for a 101 Amazon gift card. So it's kind of our tradition to give a $101 gift away, and tonight is an Amazon gift card. So at the end of our webinar here in 30-40 minutes, we'll be telling you who that winner is. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Alyssa and her fiance on here to tell us a little bit about our summer roadmap. Welcome, Alyssa.
All right. Thank you, Tom. Okay. So tonight we're going to talk through what your May, June, and July and August should look like for you and your student. So in May, we're really focused right now. We're coming up on the 7th here for that SAT test, and we have our ACT after that. Our tests are important. Get scheduled. Schedule out as far as you can in the summer as well right now. You need to be looking for your teacher recommendations and that college list development as well. We're going to talk about upgrading our resumes, our essay workshops, and visiting colleges. You should continue doing that as long as you possibly can, but it's always important to get on campus before you apply. And then you should be finalizing those essays come July so that August 1st, here we are ready, and let's apply and let's get ahead of the curve. All right. So we're going to talk next about our 5 ways that we're going to get a jump start on our college application season, because like Tom said, it's just around the corner. We're under 100 days, and that's exciting, but there's a lot to do. So we want to start by building our top 10 college list. All right. It's important that we have those schools that we know, we're familiar with, our student knows, has been on, and you have to ask those questions of how far is too far? Are we okay flying to visit each other? Are you okay flying back only for major holidays? What kind of a location do you want? This is the first time, and I love having this conversation with my students too, that you get to choose your own home as a teenager, right? They're 18, they're going off. This is the first time they get to choose. And so location is important. They want to find a place that they feel at home at, where they're having opportunities that make them excited, as well as climate is important too. If you want all 4 seasons, Midwest is great. But if you're like me, and right now the 46 degrees at the end of April here is a little cold, you might want to look farther south. So find that great location that you're looking for, that your child's going to be really excited about. And the cost, of course, now that comes into play quite a bit. So having that conversation is extremely important. Some students don't know until it comes some time to say yes to a school. So have that conversation early. The size is also extremely important. And of course, your major, right? If you are looking for a big school with big opportunities and big game days, you don't want to be applying and looking at tiny schools of 2,000 students or less, right? We want to find that great fit. And on the opposite side, you might be looking for that very small classroom ratio where you have, one professor to every 18 students or whatever that looks like. So find that perfect size and perfect fit for your student. Of course, the most important thing I believe is finding that perfect fit major. What are we interested in? What are we taking forward from here? There's so many different schools with so many different opportunities. some that students don't even know about until they get to explore. So we want to find that right fit with the right opportunities so that your student is just excelling their way through the next 4 years of their life. Okay, one of my favorite things to get to do is craft a resume. Okay, we've got lots of great students around who have great GPAs and great test scores, but what sets them apart from everyone else, right? This is that resume, okay? This is where we get to put everything down that we've been involved in. As you're walking through your applications, you'll see that if you're doing like a Common App, there are 10 spots to put things. Sometimes we've done a little bit more than that. And I believe our students should definitely be able to show everything they've done. So the resume comes into play a few different times. Some applications accept it, but we want to be working on that. And it also allows you the opportunity to say, what are my gaps? We have this summer coming up. So we want to make sure that we are crafting our resume to show that we are a leader. We have been leading in our events. We've been leading in our groups and our things that we're involved in. We want to show our 10 activities that we've been involved in and our 5 honors. That's very important. Okay, if your student has earned an honor, we want to make sure that that is on their resume. Gives you an instant upgrade. Now, we talked about making ourselves memorable. This is one of our great students, Sydney. And this is how she found a way to stand out. Sydney loved to volunteer. And she noticed through her volunteering at different local shelters and around town that there was something that was kind of missing. There was an opportunity for her to provide dignity back to women who were living on the street by finding ways to donate feminine products, which then just developed into total hygiene products. She listened to a lot of women and heard their story, and she was determined. And so she created just a club at school. That's how it started. And they fundraised, and they became so big that they had to take it out of the school. And she developed it into a nonprofit. And so Sydney here has set herself apart in this nonprofit as she's going to college, is going to continue in her town and everywhere she goes. And her ultimate goal now is to continue that everywhere for the rest of her life because she is so passionate about it. But this set her apart. It makes her memorable as she's applying. It gives her opportunities to talk about something different, something that not every other student has done. I want to tell you about another student of ours. This is Amelia. Okay, now Amelia was inspired throughout the pandemic by everybody just kind of being stuck inside together. And she really got to talk to her grandma a little bit and realized how lonely that seniors were, especially seniors who were living apart from their families. They were shut in longer and still to this day, a little bit more than everyone else. And she wanted to find a way to not just impact her own grandmother, but to make an impact on senior care and living homes around her area. And so through different socially distanced outside events, she got all of her friends, her teammates, classmates, everybody involved with making signs and cards. And then they would go and deliver them. They would post them outside windows and visit people and talk to people through the screens if they could. So you can see it was only ever allowed to be popped open a little bit, but she found a way where there was a gap and a way that she could make a difference, something she was passionate about because of even her own family. And so she was able to also now turn this into a nonprofit, which is absolutely fabulous. She is such a hard worker and we're so proud of her. And now this is going to be something she also gets to take with her, where she has a passion for elderly, and she wants to just make sure she is always able to make a difference. Okay, so now I want to turn this over to awesome Tracey Childs from Mobile, Alabama. She's going to take us through the rest of our 5 tips.
Thank you, Alyssa. I appreciate that. And I am going to do just that, starting with number 3. One thing that we want our juniors to be thinking about right now is preparing those teacher recommendations. We know that the college application season doesn't open until August 1st, but we want our students to get those recommendations secured early. So prior to them even leaving school for the summer. Some tips that we really want you to think about with those recommendation letters are, who are you getting them from? We know that our students have great relationships with lots of their teachers, but they need to get that recommendation from teachers in their core classes. And I would go so far as to say a foreign language teacher would also be included in that core class. If that teacher knows our students outside of the classroom, or if that student has a really great relationship with the teacher, that's an added bonus, because that teacher can not only talk about the student's academic capabilities, but they can also speak to more about who that student is as a person. So that's really important. We also want to make sure that we're getting teachers who are articulate, right? Who are writing good letters and who are going to do them on time. So if you know that that teacher is habitually late getting in their grades, then you might not want to ask them to write that teacher recommendation letter. One other thing to really think about is when you are asking your teachers to provide those recommendations, you want to give them a sample of your work. So Alyssa just talked to us about how important that resume is. So you'll want to give them a copy of that resume. You'll want to give them a sample of your writing so that those teachers can see what your capabilities are and how you're involved in the community. That just helps them to write a letter more like the one on the right than on the left. We don't want teachers having to write those form letters, right? Where they're just kind of filling in the blanks. We really want them to write that above average letter that tells who you are, gives people a little glimpse of who our students are and what they're doing. I have students ask me sometimes, can I ask my senior English teacher? And my answer is always only if you've had that senior English teacher as a sophomore or junior as well, right? So we want to ask teachers who have had us in class already and who really know us a little bit better than just for those first couple of weeks of school of senior year. The next thing that we want to spend some time talking about is test prep. Hopefully by now, your juniors have already taken an ACT or an SAT. But if they have not, then they really need to be registered for these upcoming tests, because it is beyond time to have that baseline score. And we want to know where they start so we can know where we need to work toward. We spend a lot of time in our offices across the country working with students and identifying their top 10 trends. Our students can tell you backwards and forwards where they're weak and where they're strong. And that's really important, because then it helps us to tackle those weaknesses so that we can see those increases in their scores. We tell all of our students across the country, practice makes progress, not perfect, but progress. And every time they take that test, they're a little more comfortable. They understand their trends a little bit better. And so we want students to take the test multiple times. If you take a look, you're going to see that we're running out of time, right? As far as when those tests are offered. So we do have next week deadlines for the June SAT. That's next Thursday. So before you go out for tacos on Cinco de Mayo, you've got to get registered for that SAT. And then on Friday, the ACT deadline registration deadline comes up for that June 11th test. The ACT will be offered again in July, and the SAT will be offered again sometime in August. But remember, colleges have deadlines, and they have deadlines based on what tests they will take. so that your students can be eligible for merit scholarships. So we definitely want to pay attention to the urgency and getting registered for those tests and getting into that test prep. Another big thing that we're all gearing up for, and I have to be honest, is probably my favorite thing since I used to teach college English, is the college essay. We tell our students here in Mobile, and I'm sure my colleagues across the country say it as well, the Common Application has a space for a college essay. And for many schools, it'll say the essay is optional. But our students in Mobile know that when they walk through our doors, that word optional goes out the window. We don't even know what it means, right? So that essay is super important because it is a way that colleges get to see our students for more than that GPA and more than that ACT or SAT score. And so we spend a lot of time during the summer making sure that our students, again, I'm going to steal one of Alyssa's words, are memorable, right? How do they present themselves in a way that captures the reader's attention very quickly? How do they stand out? And so we focus on that essay structure. And our students at first sometimes dread having to write that essay, but we make sure that it is something that they are proud of when they publish it on their applications. Now, keep in mind that that main essay is not the only essay that our students are going to be writing. Most seniors are going to write anywhere from 5 to 10 supplemental essays, depending on the number of colleges they apply to, the number of scholarships that they apply to. And in every single one of those essays, we're really focusing on making sure that they stand out, right? That they're memorable, that they're unique. Tom, I'm going to go ahead and throw this back to you.
Thank you. Well, as you can tell, the application season is almost here. So the question that we have for you tonight are you ready? Are you ready? Maybe this is your starting point tonight, and that's why we're so glad to do this for you tonight. Maybe if you're a parent here with us, right, you're going to start having that conversation or start to do some college visits coming up here in May or June, right? Because it's about colleges, finding those right schools. It's about building that resume, the recommendations, the working on our testing, right? And getting to this checklist is so important, when you're doing that. So college list, resume, teacher recommendations, prep, and then that college essay is that roadmap. So we call this the Summer Jumpstart period. I refer to it as a program. It's really not a separate program. It's just part of what we do here at Class 101. But this period coming up, if you haven't worked on anything yet, again, we got you. And so we can help you with this. So I am excited to tell you about our winner tonight. So for our $101 Amazon gift card, the winner is, a little drum roll, please, Emily Borders. So Emily, we are excited that you are our $101 winner. And I noticed she even chatted in a question tonight. So that was cool. So thank you for being so active and stuff on our webinar tonight. So the questions were great tonight, and we really appreciate that. But our mission here is to help have those answers for you, be that accurate source of information. So if you're looking for that, looking for some support for your family, then reach out to one of our local Class 101 people. We'll do a free consultation. That doesn't cost you anything, and we'll give you a bunch of free information. So reach out to your local person. Tell them that you attended our Summer Jumpstart period webinar here tonight, and reach out to them, and they'd be able to help you, specifically with what your students, or again, if you're a student on here, what you're looking to do. And that's probably right, find those right colleges at the right price, because that's what Emily asked for tonight. So you can see the email in there. and we'll get you your card. So are you ready? We hope so. We hope you got set tonight, and we hope that you go and get accepted into the right school for the right fit for the right price. We're honored to do what we get to do here at Class 101. And we're honored to be able to tell you that we empower students, serve families, and inspire greatness. And hopefully tonight, you're a little greater by attending this webinar. Thank you very much. We're going to keep the webinar running. Again, feel free to, in case there's some questions, but feel free to contact our local Class 101 advisor to get started, and you can visit and see our locations on the screen. Again, thank you very much and have a great night. Bye-bye now.